in the box you set up with all the inserts, and did you take a break from me?
Which one?
It looks.
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
So the tasks. Yep, in the box. The tasks in the box. Oh, this is the email. So this is flipped over? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Good shape. You're going to have a seat in the chair that's facing the monitor. Yeah. I'll explain what you're doing. Sure. So the first part of this is we are going to watch an HSN commercial. You've seen HSN commercial before. So this one, it's not the typical like 15 or 30 minute segment, it's just 2 minutes. But what I'd like to do is to watch it, let's say 3 times. I left a pen and paper here because I'd like you to just write down the things that stand out from the commercial. Okay. And when I come back, I want to talk about your understanding of the offer itself, as well as your key takeaways. Okay?
Hello everyone, my name is Natalia. And I'm Erica. Welcome to the Home Shopping Network. And we're here to introduce you to a great offer from our friends of Simple Mobile. That's right, let's welcome the Simple Mobile Hotspot Bundle. So you may be wondering, what exactly is a hotspot? Well, this little device keeps you connected to the internet, which means you can connect any wireless device you may have. So when you say wireless, you mean cell phones? Absolutely. What about tablets? Yes. Gaming consoles? Yes. So you said you can connect from anywhere, right? Using this hotspot? You are correct. You can connect to the hotspot from anywhere you want. So you can connect to it from the comfort of your own home or those lengthy family road trips. That's the best with your best friends. Okay, so now we know what I can connect to it and that I can do it from anywhere, but what is the special offer we have today? That's a very good question. The special Simple Mobile Hotspot Bundle that comes with the hotspot, a car charger, and up to 24 gigabytes of high-speed data for a year on Simple Mobile's wireless service, powered by T-Mobile. That sounds amazing. So just for today, you have this great bundle for $129.99, when it usually retails for $419.99. So today, $129.99. Isn't that amazing? It definitely is. So let's talk about the most important part about the bundle, data. Yes. This plan comes with 24 gigabytes of high-speed data divided into 12 months. So basically, 2 gigabytes per month. You are correct. And it's set up in a way that if you need a little bit of extra data one month, you can just dip it to your next available balance and get some extra data. Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. So if my little brother decides to binge watch his favorite TV show, and my mom wants to keep in touch with every single family member, and they use up all the 2 gigabytes that we had available, they can just use the next available plan. Correct. And in the event that you run out of all 24 gigabytes of high-speed data, all you really need to do is go to Simple Mobile's website and purchase the data add-on plan. That sounds really easy. It is with Simple Mobile. Hello everyone, my name is Natalia. And I'm Erica. Welcome to the Home Shopping Network. And we're here to introduce you to a great offer from our friends of Simple Mobile. That's right, let's welcome the Simple Mobile Hotspot Bundle. So you may be wondering, what exactly is a hotspot? Well, this little device keeps you connected to the internet, which means you can connect any wireless device you may have. So when you say wireless, do you mean cell phones? Absolutely. What about tablets? Yes. Gaming consoles? Yes. So you said you can connect from anywhere, right? Using this hotspot? You are correct. You can connect to the hotspot from anywhere you want. So you can connect to it from the comfort of your own home or those lengthy family road trips. That device will become the best friend. Okay, so now you know what I can connect to it and that I can do it from anywhere, but what is the special offer we have today? That's a very good question. The special Simple Mobile Hotspot Bundle comes with the hotspot, a car charger, and up to 24 gigabytes of high-speed data for a year on Simple Mobile's wireless service powered by T-Mobile. That sounds amazing. So just for today, you have this great bundle for $129.99 when it usually retails for $419.99. So today, $129.99. Isn't that amazing? It definitely is. So let's talk about the most important part about the bundle, data. Yes. This plan comes with 24 gigabytes of high-speed data divided into 12 months. So basically, 2 gigabytes per month. You are correct. And it's set up in a way that if you need a little bit of extra data one month, you can just dip it to your next available balance and get some extra data. Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. So if my little brother decides to binge watch his favorite TV show, and my mom wants to keep in touch with every single family member, and they use up all the 2 gigabytes that we had available, they can just use the next available plan. Correct. And in the event that you run out of all 24 gigabytes of high-speed data, all you really need to do is go to Simple Mobile's website and purchase the data add-on plan. That sounds really easy. It is with Simple Mobile.
All right, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
What were the main things that stuck out to you?
They mentioned the phrase "stay connected."
Okay.
And I kind of like that, especially like if you're on a road trip or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you always want to have access to Wi-Fi and be able
Right.
to connect yourself. Also wrote down it's a great price. I mean, it seems like from $429 was it? It's down to $129.
Right.
The price was appealing.
Uh-huh.
Just the 2 gigabytes per month doesn't seem like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like I can do that in a week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the offer itself, and let me just skip ahead a little bit so that we have a point of reference. Tell me about the offer. What are you getting?
Well, you're getting the hotspot
Uh-huh.
and the 24 gigs of data
Uh-huh.
for the year,
Uh-huh.
and free shipping,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay. So the 24 gigabytes, let's talk a little bit about that. So 24 gigabytes for a year, how much data do you get each month?
2 gigs per month.
Okay. And what happens if you use more than the 2 gigabytes? Or let's say you've used in the first couple of weeks your 2 gigabytes.
That was a little confusing. It says, well, they mentioned you can go to the next available plan,
Right.
but I don't know what that is.
Okay.
So that was a little confusing.
Okay. Are there any other options to get more data?
I think she mentioned that you can purchase more if you run out, but it wasn't too clear.
Okay. So you said a couple of different things. Go to the next available plan or purchase more. but you aren't sure about how to.
Correct.
Okay.
Wasn't too sure on how that works, so I wrote down, the next available plan thing is a little confusing.
Right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, this is the package that you would receive if you ordered it from HSM. Okay. So now I want you to get this set up, basically so that we can use it.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're prompted for any personal information, don't use your own. Use the information that's on the sheet.
Gotcha.
Of course, you have to open the box in order to get it set up.
Mhm.
And I simply just want to make sure that it can be used. And there are a couple of things that I want to pay attention to. One is the questions that you have, right? So you had a couple of very specific questions around, what if I need more, or what are the options available? You said something about the plan. Let's try to find out the answers to those questions. And then we're going to look at the commercial when we're done to see if we can actually do some of the things that they were talking about.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so we'll
So I'm
start.
going to open this and set it up?
Absolutely.
As I'm going to use, connect my phone to it.
Exactly, yep. And you have the internet as well as the site up.
Cool.
And once you're completely done setting it up, again, keeping in mind the questions that you had, I'll come back in and we'll talk about that experience. Okay. So, oh, no, you're fine. So the one thing I want to say is that you're brand new, you're
Oh, it's not
a brand new
creating-
customer, exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
I thought this was a lot.
Yes, so you don't have an
Okay.
account yet.
Thank you. The hotspot will appear.
All right, so how are we doing?
Good, I'm connected.
Okay.
The setup was pretty easy,
Uh-huh.
and I like the size of this thing.
Uh-huh. Okay, so walk me through what you did in order to get it set up.
Well, I first, what did I do? I went to the activation site.
Mhm.
I found the red card inside the box.
Right.
It's easy to find.
Mhm.
And I just followed the instructions on the screen, I believe.
Okay. And you were using the box as well as the device itself in order to find what exactly?
The serial number,
Okay.
which I was a little confused about,
Uh-huh.
because it said the password was gonna be $12 and then the last 3 digits of the serial number, which I couldn't find. And I opened this up and I saw that on the bottom of the battery, it had the actual password.
Okay. Okay. So there were a couple of things that we saw in the commercial that you were unsure of how to do.
Right.
So the scenario is you have used the 2 gigabytes of data that you get for the month.
Right.
You still have a decent amount of the month left. You need data because let's say you're on a road trip or something. How do you take advantage or add more data so that way you have more to use even though you've used?
I guess it would be somewhere in the instructions or in the service guide. I was still a little confused. I mean, I didn't see anything that talked about adding more data. Maybe I'm missing something.
Okay, so why don't we, I'm going to give you, let's say, about 5 minutes just to see if you can find anything, either with the materials or online.
Okay.
And then when we come back in, I'd like to talk about what you found.
Gotcha.
So what do you find?
I found the various service plans
Okay.
that, for the various prices, you can get extra gigs.
Mhm.
There was a really low one. For $5 more, you get 500 megabytes. I feel like I go through that quick. What I'm confused about is this is an additional charge to the 129 that was paid for the device and the 24 gigs, right, for the year.
Okay.
So this would be an additional charge, right?
Is that what you're finding?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that they mentioned on the commercial was the ability to dig into your balance. What does that mean?
To dig into your balance. I guess if you go over the 2 gigs for 1 month, you can dig into the 24 that they're giving you for the year.
Okay.
That's what I'm taking from it.
How would you do that?
Good question. I don't know. I guess maybe when you log into your account, you get like a notification, oh, you're up to your 2 gigs of data. You just start dipping into your reserves.
So where would you expect to see that? Because you are logged into your account, right?
Right.
So I'm going to actually just, so I can see what you're doing too.
So I'm going to go to my account. My devices. Data balance. And it says you have used 0 megabytes of the 2 gigs available. I don't see how this would tap into the 24 gig reserve.
Okay.
Am I missing something?
Well, based on what you are trying to do and what you see, is there a clear way to identify or to pull from that balance that you were talking about?
No, I don't see a clear way.
Okay.
I could be missing something? Maybe this auto re-up. See, this is if I want to buy more, but it doesn't talk to me about my reserves.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure how to do that.
How to dig into your reserves. Okay. So let's say this was an email that you received after you activated your account. I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then I'd like your thoughts or impressions.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Because the 129 was supposed to include the 24 gigs. So what is this $30 a month? Where does that kick in?
Okay.
That's where I'm a little confused.
Right.
I like the fact that there's an app for your phone that you can manage the account. But yeah, I'm just confused on where this $30 a month comes into play.
Okay.
If the 129 was supposed to include the 24 gigs of data, what's this $30 a month? I'm just confused about that.
Right.
And then it talks about re-up, which I'm still not clear on what that means, whether re-up means tapping into your reserves, or whether re-up means you're putting more money into Simple Mobile to add more data.
Okay.
Just a little confused.
Okay. And I'll kind of explain everything once we're done.
Okay.
And then I want to do a couple of different things. So the first thing is I want to look at the commercial again, because now that you've had an opportunity to look at the commercial, you probably had some preconceptions of what the offer is.
Mhm.
Now you've taken advantage of the offer. You were able to activate it, get everything set up. You still have some additional questions. So now I'd like to look at this just one more time, just to see the questions that still linger and anything that is mentioned in the commercial that you would like to get more information about.
Mobile, that's right. Let's welcome the Simple Mobile Hotspot bundle. So you may be wondering, what exactly is a hotspot? Well, this little device keeps you connected to the internet, which means you can connect any wireless device you may have. So when you say wireless, you mean cell phones? Absolutely. What about tablets? Yes. Gaming consoles? Yes. So you said you can connect from anywhere, right? Using this hotspot? You are correct. You can connect to the hotspot from anywhere you want. So you can connect to it from the comfort of your own home or those lengthy family road trips. That's the best way to do your best friends. Okay, so now we know what I can connect to it and that I can do it from anywhere, but what is the special offer we have today? That's a very good question. The special Simple Mobile Hotspot bundle comes with the hotspot, a car charger, and up to 24 gigabytes of high-speed data for a year on Simple Mobile's wireless service, powered by T-Mobile. That sounds amazing. So just for today, you have this great bundle for $129.99, when it usually retails for $419.99. So today, $129.99. Isn't that amazing? It definitely is. So let's talk about the most important part about the bundle, data. Yes. This plan comes with 24 gigabytes of high-speed data divided into 12 months. So basically, 2 gigabytes per month. You are correct. And it's set up in a way that if you need a little bit of extra data one month, you can just dip into your next available balance and get some extra data. Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. So if my little brother decides to binge watch his favorite TV show, and my mom wants to keep in touch with every single family member, and they use up all the 2 gigabytes that we had available, they can just use the next available plan. Correct. And in the event that you run out of all 24 gigabytes of high-speed data, all you really need to do is go to Simple Mobile's website and purchase a data add-on plan. That sounds really easy. It is. The Simple Mobile.
So what questions do you have based on what you saw?
I'm still confused on if you go over the 2 gigabytes of data per month, it says she said you can tap into your next, whatever, like your reserves or your next, but it's not clear on how that works. Like that's just the one part of it that's a little confusing. She talks about the reserves and dipping into the next available plan.
Right.
And I'm still a little bit confused on that.
Okay. So I want to show you one other thing and let me know if this helps further your understanding.
Yeah, this is a little bit clearer because it's telling me that I have a 30-day plan at 2 gigabytes times 12, which equals to 12 months.
Right.
And that if you receive the 2 gigabytes and since you may pull in a PIN on reserve before 30 days to start a new 30-day plan, that to me makes no sense. Like if that's supposed to be explanatory, I don't get it. You may pull any PIN on reserve before 30 days to start a new 30-day plan. That's still confusing to me.
So that specific line is confusing.
Very confusing.
Okay.
I mean, everything else is great. I mean, it explains it, it outlines everything, just
Right.
that whole thing, if you go over the 2 gigs, it's still a little bit confusing to me.
Okay. All right, so we're actually done.
Okay.
You can leave all of this here because we have to reset anyways.
Okay.
You can bring your stuff. I already have your survey, so we're just going to check out.
So just leave everything here?
Yeah, just don't forget your shades, keys, or anything else.